The Bring a Trailer Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Bring a Trailer Podcast. Alex Porter here in the San Francisco headquarters of BAT, joined in the studio by three folks, by Zach, Beck, and Cam. Hey, gents.
What's going on, Alex?
Today is the much teased, and I'm very excited about it, episode where we're going to talk about the Fast and the Furious, right? It gets a little confusing, right? Yes. Action / unintentional comedy.
Cameron's out. He thought we were doing Fast Furious.
Oh, totally. Well, okay, so there is another one that's right. That's what? That's Fast and Furious or something like that.
Yes. So we'll get to it eventually.
Yeah, we have to talk about the extended universe because this launches, I guess, 10 actual Fast and Furious movies, but then there's spin-offs too.
So many spin-offs that I had no idea were out. Apparently Fast and Feel Love is one.
Oh my gosh. Don't know about that one.
Wow, this is a G-rated podcast. Okay, Cameron?
And there's a musical too, I believe.
You're kidding me.
Oh, the
really?
musical. I'm going to go deep on that. I still got to see it.
Okay.
It's like a satirical musical in a great way.
Have any of you seen all of them?
No.
Okay.
I tapped out at Tokyo Drift.
That's early, isn't it?
That's pretty early.
Yeah, it's very early. And also it kind of comes back, I would argue. There's some later ones that are
There's some people who swear by 5 and 7. I know
like
those
Star
are very
Trek
popular.
films, right?
I've seen
it's like
those.
the even numbers versus the odd numbers, maybe.
Yes.
Okay.
I like when everything feels like a tuner car from the early 2000s.
Totally.
So
I want to spend maybe the largest chunk of time talking about that era of cars, like the era of cars in 2001. But first, what's your history with it? Zach, when did you see it first? Do you remember?
I don't have a good history with it, but I remember it coming out, being obsessed with cars, and my parents telling me I'm not allowed to see it because it's PG-13.
You were like 8 years old when this came
10.
out? 10. You were 10. Okay. You don't remember the first time you saw it?
I honestly don't remember the first time I saw it, but then it became kind of like a comfort, Friday night after a few beers, just kick on Fast and the Furious. It was definitely sometime around high school because I remember being so let down that the only Honda Prelude in the entire movie is, when they go to the drags.
Yes. You mean the one with the street?
Race
No, hold on. I've got a whole section for race wars.
Oh, yeah. He must have $100,000 under that car.
Totally.
There's one Prelude with an AutoZone aluminum spoiler that's like running down the strip that you see for like a second, and that's only Honda.
Not even in that early scene where all the cars show up for the street race. There's no. It's actually a little light on Civics. It's a little light on Hondas in general.
Well, I mean, the heist car. The heist car is the Civic.
That's right. The 3 Civics
going under the truck.
That's right. The races themselves, it's a little light on Hondas.
Sedan, and Ja Rule had the red Integra.
Yep.
Oh, I guess that's right. Maybe it is like less light than I would think. Oh,
come on.
Oh yeah. We're going to talk about all that.
Okay, great.
What about you, Beck? You're a little closer to my age. Did you see this in the theater?
I don't remember seeing it in theaters. I definitely remember watching it in friends' garage or basements, right? On a Friday night, that sort of thing. I was 16 when this came out. It was definitely it felt too flashy and too fancy to relate to in any capacity, even though I was driving at this point.
Did you have any interest in tuner cars, import cars?
I like the idea of them, but I didn't have the money to do any of this kind of modification stuff, which was sort of a theme I felt like while watching this movie. Is you wonder why is it these front wheel drive cars that are never going to be good at this, but you realize a lot of this comes from the car that you could afford or you were given when you were 16, like a hand-me-down, and in that situation, you just sort of deal with what you have, and that's what all these cars are.
That's such a great segue to Jesse's car.
Oh my gosh.
Exactly.
Oh yes. Like the world's worst drag racing cars.
My dad gets out of prison.
Totally. Oh my God, there's so much good stuff. What about you, Cam? When do you come to it? You're the youngest of us here.
Well, yes, I would have been 4 years old when this movie came out. So I know that I saw this movie well after I saw Too Fast, Too Furious.
Wow.
That was definitely my intro to this.
For both of you, was this your first though? For Zach and Beck? Yeah, okay.
And you were so inspired by Tyrese wanting the convertible. You're like, I gotta see the prequel to this.
The purple, is that a purple Eclipse?
The purple Eclipse.
Oh, the Eclipse convertible.
They
Yes.
two cars.
Yeah.
Just I want the convertible.
In my head, the silver GTR and that purple Eclipse are the iconic Fast and the Furious cars for me. But I specifically remember driving out to a baseball tournament in Las Vegas and watching this movie in the back seat with my brother. And I know that was the first time I saw this one. I don't have a ton of memories or what my takes on it were at that point. But yes, I even might have watched another one before I had seen this one. I kind of caught this one late.
Have you seen a good number of them?
I also feel like Tokyo Drift is when I kind of dropped off, and when they started to get into the more like military, tactical, let's build custom vehicles.
Once
thing.
The Rock shows up.
Once The Rock shows
Once
up.
they are superheroes.
Bow Wow's not in the fourth one. Neither am I.
Once Ludacris is out, I'm kind of done.
Dude, I think Ludacris is in all of them.
Is he?
He's not in this one, is he? No, he's not in this one.
He's not in this one, but he becomes a staple. He becomes like part of the team, I think.
It's Ja Rule in this one.
It is Ja Rule. But isn't Ludacris at the drags in the beginning?
No, that's Too Fast, Too Furious.
I'm mixing up Hector.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Hector pulls up also in a Civic hatch, the gold
With
one.
no hood. That is actually one of my favorite cars.
But yeah, that's certainly my
Okay,
intro
but
to
Ludacris
it.
did the intro song for Too Fast, Too Furious,
Yes.
which is still a banger.
Yeah, so good.
I saw this movie in the movie theater. I remember it distinctly. I, for some reason, always remember this being 99, which is when I got my driver's license. So, but 2001, I was with my buddy and later roommate, Jared, who had a Super Comp dragster, which is like a mid-engine kind of classic dragster, but they don't have a wing. They run about 8-second quarter miles. And we were at Pomona, the famous drag strip, and we went to go eat In-N-Out and watch this.
Well, you
Went and
skipped
watched
over,
this.
what car did you drive to the movie theater?
We took his tow vehicle. So it was like a dually Suburban, modified Suburban that had dualies added to the back, like a late 80s
Did
Suburban.
your family have the Civic Si at the time?
No. And in fact, I was a Porsche sports car guy, like because of my dad, and was, helping in air quotes, a crew on a dragster with a 540 cubic inch engine and, thought of these kind of cars as lame, but we thought we'd go see it as a lark. And I remember we both really enjoyed it, Jared and I, and then drove back to the drag strip, really had a really fun time. And I remember the parking lot at the movie theater in Pomona filled with like lowered Civics and underglows and all that kind of stuff.
It was unreal leaving the theater. All the front wheel drive burnouts getting out of there.
Totally. People like revving up their 1.6 liters as far as they'll go. So I remember this movie really fondly. It is definitely still my favorite of all of them, although there's some contention there. Do you guys, are you all in unanimous agreement there?
I think we're going to have to just edit that question out.
Okay.
That's just an objective truth in this world. It is the best one.
Whoa, interesting.
Oh, you think no?
What?
I mean, like I was telling you, I truly didn't have much insight into this movie because it had been so long since I had watched it. And so watching it with fresh eyes and having Too Fast, Too Furious and Tokyo Drift much more on the forefront of my brain, I just remember enjoying those a lot more than I did this one.
Fascinating. This one's a simpler plot line. I learned a lot of interesting.
When was the last time you rewatched the second one?
Admittedly,
you should see your enjoyment level watching them today.
Fair enough.
Maybe that'll be our next movie pod. We can do Tokyo Drift, or what's the next one that comes? Is it
Too Fast,
Too Furious? Okay,
Yes.
And that's the Eclipse convertible.
Yes.
Okay. What's the one with the actor who's not very that Tokyo Drift? The guy
Tokyo
who's
Drift is no Paul Walker.
Yes,
And
okay.
Bow Wow in he's in a Scion XB in Japan with all the subs.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's like an opening scene where they race a Viper or something like that.
That's the reason why he gets sent to Japan.
Right.
He
He's like a
crashes
criminal.
his car
Yeah,
into
okay.
the housing development.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
seeing this
that's definitely
movie,
next.
This is my favorite as well. Zach, this is, I think, by far the best one. And I hadn't seen it in a very long time. I probably 10 years since I had watched it again. But I've definitely seen between the first time and now a lot of the Fast and Furious movies. And going back and seeing this felt so refreshing.
Yes.
It feels so much more real. It actually feels, even as ridiculous as it is in certain moments, it felt even more authentic to a certain degree because it wasn't cars jumping from a building to another building in that
correct.
sort of sense.
They didn't go full Mission Impossible.
Correct.
You start to lose the plot a little bit.
Well, it's like more like a detective cop drama. Like it's got more in common with Bullitt than you would think. And it's
In a
not an
sense,
action.
it
It's not an
does.
action franchise yet, right? And
Like, it's
later it
not a
turns into
noir,
like an
yeah.
action movie franchise.
No, and it's been a while since I've seen Point Break, but isn't it like pretty accurate to the
Yes.
plot of Point Break?
Sure.
Did you
Undercover.
guys read? So I didn't know this till I did the research on this. This idea comes from Paul Walker for this movie.
Oh.
Did you guys read that? So the director had worked with him on a different movie and came to him. I mean, Paul Walker's this handsome guy. By the way, 27 years old when he made this movie.
That's
Like,
the parallel I'm
fantastic.
drawing for Point Break, like handsome blonde guys
Yeah.
that are police
Surfer
officers.
type
Other than
dude.
that,
Yeah.
but
Back, you might have to be on Plot Police again, by the way, because this one also has a semi-complex plot. Is he the FBI? Is he LAPD? It's unclear. I
I'm
think
not
he's
a cop.
Yeah, that's right. The director
It's
came to
such
him
a great
and
line,
said,
spoiling the ending. All right, I'm a cop.
totally, when he calls for the medevac, very deeply emotional scene.
Yeah.
But the director said, "What's your dream movie?" And he said,
"Can we also just shout out? We just sold Paul Walker's Ford GT.
Oh, we definitely should. It was really good. No stripe car too. Man, it was
no
handsome.
stripe, staggered wheels, 19s and 20s. Had an exhaust.
Great
cool car.
Great looking stuff. He said we wanted to do a mashup of Days of Thunder and Donnie Brasco, and that's like kind of what this is a little bit. So he must have had a car interest already. I didn't do a deep dive onto his car background, but obviously a legit car guy and must have been interested in cars already.
Well, I'm curious. I didn't do too much research of his background prior to filming this movie, but I would have to imagine. Like,
you're not a big She's All That fan?
I can't say I am.
That's the next movie we're doing.
Totally. Part of the reason why I think it's pretty good and simple and the police plot line is great, and Zach, we need to talk about the house where the police are set up at some point. Okay, good. One of the writers, got 3 credited writers, but David Ayer is one of them, who wrote like a bunch of awesome movies. Fury, did you ever see the movie Fury, the tank movie? That's one of his. SWAT, which I actually really like. I wish that had a little more cars in it so we could sneak. Yes, totally. Training Day, he wrote Training Day. So he like wrote a lot of like really cool cop. There's a movie with Jake Gyllenhaal and Michael Pena where they're LAPD partners that's really good. It's written by End of Watch. Have you ever seen that? Really good movie. So really good writer on this, which I think maybe is part of the reason why it's really good. The director, Rob Cohn, maybe not so many great movies to his name and also problematic in later days. But I think it is a pretty well-directed movie for the most part.
I really liked it. I could be wrong in my timing, but I feel like there is no talk of him being an undercover cop for the first at least half an hour of the movie before he gets, put in handcuffs, taken to that house. And then that's when it's revealed for the first time, which I really enjoy.
Totally. A little bit about the movie before we dive into scenes and cars and everything. $38 million budget, so not that expensive. $207 million box office, which is a pretty good return, but doesn't necessarily make you think like, oh, this is going to be... is this...
I think it's kind of amazing for its time, though.
It is big, but does that make you think like this is going to be one of the biggest action franchises of the 21st? Is this the biggest action franchise of the 21st century?
What did it do with box office?
207?
Rush Hour 2 did 226 that year. So
maybe I'm wrong.
It's in the ballpark.
I think that was pretty big for its time, and its return on investment is pretty massive.
Return on investment is very big.
And I think it took a while, right? It wasn't obviously the second movie, the third movie. Those are not the ones that make this into the big giant franchise.
No, it's the Rock.
It's once they realize
cars through buildings era.
All the bits and pieces that they need, the right number, the right specific people, and they convert them into just the tactical mission style.
Okay, Gladiator the year before did 186 M.
Oh wow, and that won Best Picture, one of my favorite movies. Wow. Okay,
contextualizing the 2001 release to Fast and the Furious.
Yeah, I'm from the Mario $1 billion era for franchise IP. This wasn't designed.
I love it. You're like $200 million. Why is it so low?
I guess my thought was like, certainly when I watched this, I wouldn't have thought it would spawn. I mean, it was before there were so many sequels to everything. You wouldn't know that it would spawn.
I think to your point, like the first car movie that was relevant to that generation. And it seemed to be a little more universal than you'd think.
So based on an article from Vibe magazine, like that was their thing, Racer X. Right. Did you guys read that?
No.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. We got a link to it. It's a really interesting listen. It's got one main character who's racing a Civic that he gets down into the 11s. So it's actually pretty fast. It's like a hatchback DX Civic, like early 90s Civic. And the article specifically talks about the multiculturalism of the drag racing scene at night on the East Coast. And so like you can see where they get at least the vibes for this movie. And that felt pretty different, right? From the era of like big buffed out white guys in action movies to something that looks very different.
Mm-hmm.
I actually kind of like what this movie has to say about race. It's weird,
totally.
But like it's the moment that Paul Walker is just called white boy multiple times and he laughs it off. I find that hilarious. And I think it actually says something about young people of that time versus what you were referencing before as far as who probably the drag racing community was. It's a little bifurcated. It's a little these people stay over here, people stay over there, which wasn't necessarily my childhood in that time. But I did at least like that it made fun of it to a certain degree. And Hector is a great character, I think, bringing that in. I thought that was a pretty honest and pretty decent job at it.
It definitely looked different than action movies.
If you pull up his IMDb, he's literally played Hector in every single role. He just is Hector in every single role. It's unreal.
Speaking of race and race wars, the unfortunate name for their drag race thing, that's actually in the article too, but it's called Drag Wars. And I don't know if they were more scared to call it Drag Wars, so they changed it to Race Wars. But that's like a real place that the people go in the Vibe magazine article to race their Honda, to be, Zach, the fastest Honda on the East Coast. Because the fastest Honda on the West Coast, no, this article takes place on the East Coast, but the fastest Honda on the West Coast was 10 and a half seconds. This is 25 years ago.
Yeah, we got to get into the 10-second car. I've got some opinions there.
Oh, for sure. For sure. A few other people in the cast. I didn't realize how Vin Diesel was 33, but Michelle Rodriguez was 22 when they made this movie. They filmed it in October of 2000.
She looks exactly
totally.
the same today.
And Jordana Brewster was 20 when they made this. So, I mean, these people were young.
Oh, she can't have a Corona.
No, I don't remember if she does. She definitely drives that Acura in an interesting way. She has an interesting driving position, the Integra sedan. Why don't we dive into the actual scenes themselves? One of the things I thought we could do to start it up is like, are there cars in your guys' head that are iconic in this one? Separate from, we can have the Charger Supra debate later, but like some of the peripheral cars.
I feel like we got to get into the mods, but I wasn't sure if I should stack this at the beginning or end, but you got to give a huge shout out to Craig Lieberman, who is the technical advisor. Did you read up on him at all?
No, huh?
He's basically the guy that sourced all of the cars.
And picked them to some extent?
Yes. And he has an amazing YouTube channel. I'd give everyone a recommendation to go deep on it. I think it just is.
Say his name again?
Craig Lieberman.
Okay.
And his YouTube's just at Craig Lieberman. And then he has this fantastic, I mean, one of the best things about the entire film is the fandom all around it. There's
100%.
so many good wikis. And Craig has his own website called fastandfuriousfacts.com with so much sweet inside baseball of how it all came to be. So
did he do the mods on the cars too? Did he like choose how to modify?
He was a big part of it. He's
Okay.
clearly a huge car enthusiast himself, and the Supra was his personal car at the time. So there were strict parameters of what they could use for the movie and not, which is why you don't see an NSX, you don't see a 300ZX. You were supposed to see a VR4. That's what Brian's Supra was originally going to be.
Oh, interesting.
But it just didn't work. So one of the big parameters they had was you had to have 4 of every car in order to film the movie. And then they had a max budget of $2 million. So that's why some of the higher end stuff like NSXs were out. And then
does that mean they had 4 R33 Skylines?
Well, so the R33
because that's my favorite.
Man, I've got more to say about Craig, but you can go deep on that R33. Do you know the story behind that?
No, the yellow car with the graphic with the guy pointing on the side.
Yeah, which is so out of place. One, because you're like, at the time, I didn't totally get it, but watching it today, you're like, how did they get an R33?
And that's only like a 5-year-old car at that point or something like that.
Yeah, and it's just hilarious seeing it roll with that blue Maxima,
Totally.
which also has an interesting story. So the R33 was an early Motor X car.
Oh,
it was
interesting.
like their
press
press and development car. And the owner...
Give the TLDR on Motor X for anyone who doesn't know about it.
We'll get there.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll come full circle. Don't worry. The owner at the time was Sean Morris, who runs Top Rank now.
Yeah.
Which is a crazy arc. I didn't realize he was quite that old, but he was rolling that car around when he was 26. They got it in
that exact yellow car.
Yeah, and I think they were able to get away with the not having multiple rule because it's in so few scenes. It's pretty much only in the beginning.
It's the police spotter scene.
Yeah. So, I mean, that car is like insane and was going to also be one of the candidates for Brian's Supra or instead of his Eclipse, but they couldn't have 4 of them, so it wouldn't work as like a hero car. So that car was imported by Motor X. It's filmed. It's in the movie. It goes on to be sold. In 2012, the owner is trying to sell it. And of course, there's a ton of PR around this car. So Cameron's up on this. And he's trying to sell it, and it turns out it doesn't have a VIN. And he's telling the buyer, no big deal. I can get you a Florida title for it. Oof. This all comes to light. The government catches on, and they crushed the car. They seized it and crushed it because it wasn't properly imported. Motor X didn't properly import that car at the beginning.
That exact one.
Yeah. So wow. 2012. Now it's a block.
That's so it's interesting one because I kind of thought a lot of the crushing of Skylines was a myth. So that's interesting that a fairly famous
late
one
stage
got
in 20. It's such a good intersection of the Fast and the Furious trivia and Bring a Trailer.
Totally.
His title situations all coming together.
I've seen 2 separate stories on that. I've seen a story that it got crushed, and I've seen one story that it actually got sent to Germany and has been on display somewhere there. But I couldn't find any confirmation of that or photos of the car.
So what I was reading was the owner at the time was basically begging the government to let him have it leave the country, and it doesn't appear that they let him do that.
Wow.
If you're out there in Germany checking out that R33,
but there's no photos of a crushed R33 either, right?
Yeah, it's Amelia Earhart taking a selfie in front of the R33.
Totally. And there's
next to the Ark of
the Roswell crashes in the background. That's so interesting, Cam. I've been on the telephone with a person at the DOT, and I actually asked them one time about the Motor X cars, and they were like, "Oh, we consider those legitimate, and we don't really crush cars."
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
So crazy. I mean, also crazy intersection with Sean Morris, who's
Totally.
like a big player in importing Skylines now. That's like early inception for him. So anyway, Craig's website has all these awesome facts. Like Johnny Tran was going to be Peter Tran, and Peter Tran was going to roll a Mustang, not a Honda 2000.
Yeah, 2000.
Interesting.
And also a lot of motorcycles for those guys too, which is interesting.
Yeah,
motorcycles and interesting guns.
So I don't know. It's
Uzis with
Mac
silencers.
11s or something.
Yeah.
But if Brian's car was a 3000 GT, would Supras not be what they are today?
Great.
That's a good question.
And all these VR Forerunners would be validated that we're dealing with
Supra
inspiration.
is so much cooler than
I like
VR4,
that.
I just have to say.
Those parameters, though, in the end, made it so the cars were ones that you actually saw.
Yeah.
Right? If it was a bunch of NSXs, then you wouldn't necessarily, I don't know, it wouldn't be cars that you see on the street.
The Eclipse in particular, there's a couple times, is it supposed to be a GSX or a GST? Because there's a couple times you can see underneath in the back, and I'm like, oh, that's a front-wheel drive car. But so I presume it's supposed to be a GSX.
It's
but
like the Evo in Too Fast, Too Furious is like just a Lancer rally yard, whatever. It's not an actual Evo. So I think that goes back to them needing 4 of them.
Totally.
Smashing them, stunt cars, all that. So the blue Maxima also has a super interesting story. It's the taller guy that I think uses some colorful language.
Yes. Yeah. Mesh t-shirt guy.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Multiple.
So much mesh.
You got to bring that look back, Alex.
I can't pull out. Cam probably could do it.
I don't know.
So he was originally supposed to roll an SW20 MR2.
Oh, that's cool.
Which is another iconic tuner car that's missing from the film.
Yeah, I was going to say, no MR2s that I
he
can
was
think
too
of.
tall for it. And then my earlier comments, the next in line for that was a 5th gen Prelude, but he was also too tall for it.
Really?
So the Maxima, I think, was Craig Lieberman's car, and he was basically like, all right, he can just cruise this around for one scene and we'll get it over with.
Fascinating. Probably no one wants to put the actors on blast. Like, I'm very curious how many of them knew how to drive manual transmissions, if they had to throw automatics in these things.
If those are stunt doubles in the drag race scene in the beginning, downshifting.
Oh my God.
Isn't the Supra actually an automatic? When it went to auction, I believe it was.
Yeah, quite a few of them are actually automatic cars, just looking at the auction results for them.
Which makes sense if you got to put actors in them.
For sure.
Yeah, Frankie Muniz.
We know our guy Paul Walker knew how to drive a stick, but I don't know how many of the other people did. And by the way, the classic, iconic American drag racer is always an automatic, right?
Sure.
It's like if you've got a big rear-wheel drive muscle car, it's always got an automatic in it. if you're gonna go.
Converter or something.
Yeah, totally.
So anyway, we can go deep on Craig Lieberman, but everyone should check out his website if you're a fan.
Did he do all of them? Did he do the 2000 and the Mark III Jetta and all that stuff
he's
too?
only up till Tokyo Drift, which is part of why I start to lose interest too, because I think he's just such a good job of sourcing the cars
100%.
and the modifications are just nailed.
Yes.
So once he departed, the direction of the films also started to change a little.
The two scenes, the scene where Vin Diesel and Paul Walker first meet and all the cars kind of come together in that like industrial setting, it feels pretty authentic to like what a nighttime car show would be. And then the first drag race where it's a street race, not the racing itself, which we need to talk about separately, which like, I don't understand the double clutching comment, but the vibe there before everyone shows up, both those feel like, I was wondering if they just invited kids to bring their cars out, because it just looks like a bunch of people getting together with import cars.
He's on a bunch of podcasts and stuff. And he talks about it all, but I think that and the race wars, they basically put out an invite for anyone with a modified car to come out there. Well, and then most of the cars for the movie were rented from private owners. That's also how Mia got that Integra sedan, because it was some other woman that lived around Los Angeles that like applied to have her car used. And then the director saw a woman was driving it. And they're like, okay, it's believable.
There's a great montage at the arrival of that race in whatever the warehouse where they're all sort of meeting up at first, where they're sort of just cutting between just like phenomenal moments in time. There's like a whole shot just on a guy on a cell phone, because like that's like an amazing thing. This like young guy's he's got business to be had.
Is he wearing sunglasses too?
I think so at night.
So perfect.
And I love that Paul Walker's work truck for his like modified parts shop that he works at is a STT Lightning.
I think that's arguably the best cast car in the entire.
My second favorite car, other than the R33, is the Lightning. I've even drafted it with Zach in some of our things before. And
we've discussed it multiple times.
Yes, that one shot where he comes skidding to a stop,
and then he goes into this parts store that I could only dream of as a kid. That has just ready exhaust, or he's picking up an air intake. It's unreal.
The NOS branding in that store, the Racer's Edge garage, NOS is everywhere. Do we know what the car is in the background of that shop?
No.
There's actually a red car in the back. It's a Miata NA Speedster concept that's parked in the back, which I thought was like a wild thing to just have that fit in there. I don't know how that showed up, but maybe it was Lieberman putting it in there.
And we are led to believe that Paul Walker is living in that place too.
And bringing girls home too, as well.
Well, I think Paul Walker could bring home pretty much anywhere.
I meant not him specifically, but to his place of work / home.
That's right.
Only he, I feel like, could bring a girl back. Like, I'm living where I work. It's okay.
Totally. It also looks like his cot is like directly adjacent to the front counter. It's like one door away.
I also love that he'd pick some girl up and she'd be like, your floorboard is gone. Just that diamond plate piece of metal that exists for no reason at all.
Totally.
I also love the car itself is not extremely iconic, but the line that it breathes is quite iconic. The 355 Spider that they pull up next to.
Absolutely.
What's retail on that?
More than you can afford, pal.
Ferrari.
Good casting.
Which is great because now F35 Spiders and clean Supras are like even to the
100%.
edge to the Supra.
Totally. Edge to the Supra. I was thinking the exact thing.
I'll probably say this multiple times while we're chatting, but the Supra is supposed to be a 10-second car. They just spent all this work building this 10-second car, and they're even with this F355 Spider.
We should address this. The big thing that falls down to me on this one, and like this is true of essentially every movie about cars and racing, is just how bad everyone always has another gear they can grab. They can downshift in the middle of a drag race that appears to take about 60 seconds.
You're actively changing your tune with your laptop while you're driving in a straight line.
I mean, it's rough. It's really, really
manifold
rough.
Pressure, Zach. Manifold pressure.
That's right.
Stage 2 isn't ready yet.
Dude, how many stages? Yeah, that's always tough. I get it because it's very cinematic to shift gears. So you like to do that as much as you can. We haven't done it yet. We're going to have to do Days of Thunder at some point, but like a lot of downshifting in Days of Thunder, like down into third gear to like, oh, sorry, you weren't already going as fast as your car could go. Interesting. Very interesting. I should have looked this up. Granny shifting instead of double clutching. Why would you double clutch when you're drag? I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
And what's weird about it is there's actually some phrasing throughout the movie that's technically right. And you feel like, oh, they actually got that right. And then there's a bunch of these ones that make you feel like there was almost two writers.
There were three
writers, exactly, that slipped in additional lines that they didn't know what to do. They just, someone told them to put it in because it feels so weird and unfortunate. But yeah,
that's during the iconic speech. That's living my life quarter mile at a time speech. Tough stuff. Can we talk Jetta real quick?
Oh, I'm so glad.
Okay, so the two worst actually, that same Super Comp dragster, I went out to LACR one time with those guys to do a test and tune night. Long gone now, is a drag strip in the Antelope Valley. And that was like, I presume you can still do this at places. You come out and pay $20 or whatever, and you can just run down the drag strip. And it was right when the Civic Si came out here, the EM1. And there were a bunch of people out there running 17.1 second, another Civic in the other lane, 17.2 seconds. And we were out there running 8s. And the car looked like
that was like a myth.
It looked like a spaceship next to all these.
He ran a 14.9
Totally.
stock.
Totally. And it was at night and the whole thing. But, like people have made those cars fast, obviously. In the article, this is based on the guys running 11s, low 12s in a Civic. Like, it's pretty fast for a front-wheel drive car. The two most unrealistic are the S2000, which, like, I can't think of a stupider car, and the Mark III Jetta.
Oh, there's way stupider cars than the S2000. But I want to hear your take on that. And the Mark III Jetta, it also has a backstory of how they got there.
So the S2000,
to know that.
Okay, the S2000 was brand new at the time. Like it was a brand new car out, and I remember thinking, like, man, that's a cool car, but it's like no torque, right? Is the whole point of an S2000. So like using that as your drag race platform.
Yeah, but that drag race
is $100,000 under the hood though, it's perfectly fine.
It lasts a full minute, so the torque doesn't even matter off the line.
That's right. He's at the top of the 6th gear.
Okay, do you want to venture to guess what the other two candidates for Jesse's car was before they got to the Jetta?
One of the interesting things is one of the few non-Japanese cars. That's one of the things I was thinking about. Were they Japanese cars for him?
They were not. He was always intended to have a European car. They're strong picks.
Front-wheel drive or rear drive?
Your rear drive.
A 911 Turbo would have been...
E30? A BMW?
Super close. E36.
Okay.
Was number 1, and number 2 was a B4 S4, which were both big tuner cars at the time and had a ton of aftermarket support, but they couldn't find any locally in LA that were modified enough. So
they should have come up to slow. There's a couple I knew about.
I know. I've seen some clapped out.
Oh, they were
S4s
clapped out when they were new. People were modifying them. Oh man, those would have both been so much stronger.
And to your point about the S2000, well, Johnny Tran, who was originally going to be Pete Tran, was supposed to roll a Mustang, which would have been more of a rag car.
Totally. Fox Body, do we know? Fox Body not being in this is tough because in 2001, we were talking about all this downstairs with Randy yesterday. When I was in high school in 2001, all the kids who wanted to go fast in a straight line in my high school all had Fox Bodies.
I always thought of a Fox Body as a great Dom car, like good for Vin Diesel. It would have been perfect for him.
Yeah.
They must have used one eventually. They've gone through every interesting car ever in this franchise, right? I saw a clip from one the other day when I was doing research for this. They used a Jensen Interceptor in one of these. So like they've really gone through almost everything at this point.
Well, and I'm just confused because in the movie, Jesse refers to the Jetta having a V6, but it is not a
VR6.
It's not a VR6. It has a 2-liter inline 4, but I'm wondering if that was a script error or like just a intentional Jesse not knowing what his car is error.
But he's supposed to be like the boy genius.
I know, all right?
Something about
ripping
engines.
cigs.
Those weren't cigarettes, Alex.
Sorry.
Remember that scene when he's at the Dell PC with all the tuning maps? Something about engines just calms me down.
100%. So many great scenes like that. Actually, I watched this twice in preparation. I love this movie. I actually think it's a really fun hang.
So I'm on board with the S2000. And part of how it got there was because Craig Lieberman was like, no American cars. So they got the Mustang out. And then either one of the directors or a producer or something had that black S2000. And he said at the time, villain cars were black. And they're like, oh, perfect.
Interesting.
And it was compact supercharged.
Then how does the Charger fit in? Like that was always going to be the kind of hero car at the end?
I don't know. I think it's all the backstory around Dom's dad being a criminal. And that's like a good...
some good dramatic acting from Vin about
it's a great moment.
It actually is good.
It's very strong.
It's good.
I think that's actually the first "I live my life quarter mile in time"
that's
reference.
Right.
I think that's the moment he
gives a different speech at the drag race. You're right.
Yeah, and then he repeats it, or there's an over.
Oh, it's your first or your last is the first one. You're either right. Nobody cares about second place. I almost had that whole thing.
It don't matter if you win by an inch or a mile.
That's right. Good call. I actually do like his RX-7.
Yeah, his RX-7's cool.
Yeah,
very much so.
The red one.
The red F.
The Charger's sick at the end.
With the NOS under the seat.
I've also read a story, also unconfirmed, but I think that red RX-7 then went on to be turned into the full Veilside for Tokyo Drift.
Oh, wow.
Which was Holland's car. Yeah.
Isn't there Veilside livery on it in the...
Yeah, there is, but it doesn't have the full kit, I don't think. Just maybe the front bumper with the lights.
Part of the reason I like it is it's a little less...
Like all the other cars in the movie, it's got the sticker.
Yeah.
That's worth 90% of the actual modification itself.
It's a little more understated than some of the other ones. And when he lifts the tan leather seat up, you can see it's already cracked and falling apart in 2001.
Did you guys have any friends that had their mod stickers on their front fenders?
Oh, yeah.
No.
And I had friends who hid their nitrous too. Like that was like a real thing for street racing.
I didn't know anyone with nitrous.
Oh, yeah. I had one friend who had the switch in the ashtray in his Camaro. So you'd pop open the ashtray and the switch was in there and the bottles were hidden down where the spare was in the back. And the other thing people would do is because the fittings were often anodized, they were blue and red to attach them to the carburetor, you'd electrical tape over it. So if somebody lifted your hood and looked underneath, they wouldn't immediately notice like kind of stock looking and then 2 braided lines of anodized fittings going into the
Do you remember the fender decals on your friends' cars?
Well, what I remember is people would put decals on that weren't, because a lot of people had Gretty, but a lot of people did not have turbos.
Sure.
What does Jesse say at the thing? We need to talk about Chronos and Mi Familia, but like, thank God for ball bearing turbos. That's like one of my favorite lines in the whole thing. I'm trying to remember what the other ones were. Oh, a lot of Coney and God, what's the other?
The big
gas
one,
pressure strut that everyone would put on.
AEM intake.
Oh, yes.
AEM engine management. And you had
Standalone.
a $150 cold air intake.
Correct.
That would just give you vapor lock if you hit a puddle.
I believe the word standalone are used in this movie somewhere. Standalone was a hot word in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Was Tokiko one of the big ones?
Is that a strut? Yeah, I think that might be right.
TN.
That's right.
With the little stuffed animal strut.
Was anyone rocking underglow?
I saw underglow, like I said, I'm almost positive when I went to see the movie. There were a lot of lowered Civics and stuff at my high school, but no underglow.
There was a little bit, but I lived in a small, like pretty policed town that was super uptight. And the rumor was always like, oh, underglow is super illegal.
Yeah.
So some kids would have it with like a switch that if you saw them at night and they saw you, they'd flip it on. All of a sudden you'd be like, oh, he's got underglow. And then super paranoid, just flip it off. So yeah, my neighbor up the street had underglow on his E36 M3.
Nice. Sick.
And I always imagined that they were actual neon tubes. Were they actually? No.
No way.
Now they're LED.
I don't know what
they
they
were.
were.
They were tubes. I don't know if it was real neon or not, but they were like light tubes.
Got it. So yeah, there was some sort of like fragile, probably pretty heavy thing that you're putting on the underside of your car just for cosmetic
Definitely
purposes.
not doing it on a car you're actually street racing.
Right.
That's one of the other ones.
But
right?
now with the LED strips that I've seen on
Totally.
the underside of cars that come through BAT occasionally, it's like a nothing ad. It's incredibly easy to do.
the lighting
You're
game.
really inspiring me to put some underglow.
I have LED underlight strips. Oh my God, you guys, on my cargo wagon.
Wow.
I can flip it on. The kids have a remote and they can change the color and do auto lights and everything while we're going through West Portal.
The lighting game on modern luxury cars is like we go rent these
Sure.
BMWs
Puddle lights,
from
Alex.
Sixt. Yeah, and you open the doors and it like projects BMW on the ground. I don't even think you can option them without that. That's just you
The
just get that.
Mustang horse.
It's also like not helpful, like to actually light
Totally.
your way because it just casts more shadows.
But in this new MDX we bought at night, there's lighting
Sure.
everywhere, and it is
Mood lighting
interesting. To me, I'm just like, oh God, all this stuff's gonna break.
Talking about the Supra, though, going back to that, the first initial race, which you're right, goes on for, I don't know the exact timing, but an incredible
Oh,
amount of
I'm
time.
sure somebody's timed that.
There's
out.
wonderful CGI going through like the transmission and through the
Oh, I
engine
actually
bay.
kind of like that.
I think it actually ages very well. But of course,
You go through the pistons at one point, don't
correct,
you?
you
And
go
you
through
see
the pistons, and then police radio chatter happens, and everyone scrams and they run away, and then eventually the biker gang catches up with Paul Walker and Dom.
By the way, some great police car
Caprice,
sliding.
bunch of Chevy
Yes,
Caprice.
Yes.
Those tires cannot handle the weight of that car. Every time it turns, it just has to slide. And then the car gets shot up, right? Blue flames explode, which supposedly blue flame does not happen with NOS, but whatever. It explodes. For the longest time, when I didn't know Japanese cars very well, I actually assumed that the Supra that gets brought to the garage for the glow up montage
Oh, yeah, it's all beat up.
was the car that had been shot and exploded, because I didn't know these models very well when I was a teenager. And then it wasn't until like way later I realized, oh, it's a completely different car. And then I started realizing when I was watching it again, they never explain where he gets it from. It's just
they
like,
do drop a line that he bought at a salvage auction
Does he?
for 10
I don't
grand or
remember.
something. Maybe I'm making this up.
It goes from crappy to nice very quickly.
Yeah. Well, he's like, that's what the Frankie Muniz character, I forget his name, guy who drives the Jetta. He's like,
Good pull. Jesse.
He's like, yeah, you drop 15 grand into this thing, it'll be great. But he never, I don't think, says where they get it from. But it is pretty accurate in that I'm sure back in the day, they're pulling 2JZs out of old scrapped Supras.
Oh, 2JZ does get a reference in this, doesn't
yes,
it?
they
Yeah.
do say it,
Yes.
I think.
2JZ GTE.
Yeah. 2JZ, one of those iconic things that probably this movie had a big hand in. I mean, Zach, you mentioned that earlier. Like, this is a big part of why Supras are so iconic, don't you think? Is that the true hero car from this movie, or is it the
Robbie
Charger?
And I had this discussion a lot
Okay.
because Robbie had been wanting, it's classic Robbie Pyle, like doing things before they're cool. He's like, I wanted a Supra, and then that movie came out, and then I felt uncool and got one. But Supra's won the last production years, 98. So there's already a vibrant tuning community around them with the known potential of that motor. So I do think the film launched it into collector status that it is now, but I think that motor's renowned enough, it would still have a super
Yes.
elevated status.
Yeah. I just forgotten that they say the words out loud. The Charger, the Supra, and the Eclipse are the three icon, like, hero cars from
It's
this
one that
movie.
people
Right?
replicate.
Yeah. Do you think the Supra or the Charger is the most iconic?
I think the Charger's still in the movies, though.
Dom has like a long lineage of Chargers. I know like his first Charger makes an appearance in one of them. I'm not sure if that like original 69 continues on, but it for sure keeps a line. I personally think the Supra is the more iconic of the two to the film.
Dom mentions it. The Charger does a 9-second quarter mile at Palmdale. Did you ever race at Palmdale?
That's LACR.
Wonderful.
I went there many times. I never raced myself, but that's where that test and tune happened, where I saw a brand new Civic SIs running 17-second quarter miles.
Would you have been, quote, scared to death to drive that Charger?
No. What's crazy is there's guys doing these drag weeks where you have to drive your street car and do a pass every day at a different drag strip. And these are cars that are they're not that streetable, but they're technically street real, and they're running 6s. Cars have gotten so freaking fast. 9 and 10 second was wild, but if you have enough money, can you go out and buy a hypercar that'll run a 10-second quarter mile?
$25,000 and buy a Tesla Model S off the site and run 10s.
I mean, that's insane.
So a 10-second car, which is another thing that it felt so unattainable growing up based on this movie, now right around 2015 or so has become kind of
it requires no skill. In a Tesla, you just mash the pedal and go, right? That's it.
Yeah, all that skill in the Supra in the movie.
The last drag race is a little tough for me.
Train tracks?
Yeah, that's where it's going to, you can see how the action franchise, that it all launches from that.
It bookends, so it's got the same slow motion sort of cutaways. It takes way too long, but it's closing up what was them racing together in the first one. And I would argue is probably one of the best misdirects is when they hop the train, you're like, oh my gosh, they made it. And I remember that time seeing the big rig crash into the Charger and just how that aged extremely well. It looks phenomenal. When you can see the reflection of the car on the windscreen.
It is pretty sick because it's it's real. It's a practical
amazing
effect. Yeah.
Yes.
It's also, I'd forgotten how abruptly the whole movie ends too. It's he lets him walk and that's it. Hands the keys vertically, the way Paul Walker hands it to him is an interesting thing when he hands him the keys to the Supra.
I even mentioned the semis of shooting the harpoon.
Dude,
and for some reason the semis still just maintain speed.
Brutal. And the villain guy getting his arm cut by the wire. And that's all practical effects too. It's sick. And I apologize for forgetting about the Civic. I actually like the spoon motor Civics. I think they're kind of cool.
The 3 black cars with green underglow.
Yes.
Oh yeah. I mean, those are the iconic under the truck.
And they do it twice. I'd forgotten about that.
It bookends as well.
Yes.
It happens in the first part and then again in the construction zone, right?
Me and everyone else of our generation now in every road trip when you get up next to
every time.
Could I?
Whenever I see, or you often then see actually on those big rigs is there's something in the way.
They've got shit hanging down.
They've got stuff in the way. They've got tires. What? How am I supposed to do this if you're going to carry around a spare tire?
I just realized huge missed opportunity that we're not drinking Coronas while we're recording this. You can have any beer you want, Cam.
They can't say. We could just say that we are.
Yeah, totally. Well, we usually clink. Oh, we need to talk about the house. The house is so sick. And you know the fate of it, Zach?
Is there a fate of it? It's still around.
It's so
I hate to break you.
I mean, they painted it and changed it up a bit.
No.
What?
Torn down.
Completely gone.
You sure? I was just looking at it. I mean,
it's actually kind of hard to find articles about it, but did you dig up that one that talks about it?
So
I assumed it was a more famous. It's actually not a super famous architect, but it's very much done in the style of all the mid-century things that we love.
The quote in the movie, what I liked about this in the movie, they reference that it's clearly odd that they're there. Right, why are they walking into this mid-century
which
home?
Which house are you talking about?
The mid-century where the cops are all set up.
Oh, you guys, I'm talking about their house.
No, sorry.
Yeah.
Also iconic. Yeah.
That's the house.
Oh, dude, it's the mid-century with the pool. Come on.
They built for Jane Mansfield or whatever.
Elizabeth Taylor. The quote is Ed Fisher bought this out.
There's a lot of scenes in it when they're fighting with the FBI and stuff, and they're in the galley kitchen, and it's all curved. Oh, man. I love that.
This is where R.I.P. Jesse runs out.
Oh, 100%.
Drive-by.
And that's where that's Mi Familia too.
So that's still standing, but I think they've changed a little bit of it. It's blurred out in Google Street View. It's probably a great way to make yourself.
Toretto Market is also sick, by the way, too. There's a lot of good venues. The Speed Shop, both the Toretto House and the Toretto Market. But the
market's still there. That's where you can get the best photo. But if you go and try and take a photo in front of
get the best tuna fish sandwich.
Well, I was going to say, I've got the same order as Paul Walker, so I'll take pride in that.
But what is called the Ridgeview House, the mid-century now.
The Ridgetop House, designed by David Fowler. It was, at the time, I believe, owned by a couple studios. It had been sort of passed through a few different LLCs.
It's got to be Hollywood Hills, right?
But yes. And what I love about it, though, is that they have to give away this throwaway line to explain why they're in this gorgeous mid-century home. It's around the time where I think mid-century is becoming kind of trendy. So it actually feels really cool that they're in this space. But it was a year or two after this movie was made, it was torn down by the Hyatt Hotel heir, Anthony Pitzker. replaced it with a 50,000 square foot home that is currently for sale for $175 million and has been on the market for 405 days.
Oh, man. It's such a beautiful home, too.
It is the new version of it. It is god-awful. If you look up, you'll find it. It's the second largest house in the LA area after the Spelling Mansion.
What a shame. But you can see from the view why somebody would want to tear that down and build a horror show.
A great line when they're having one of the arguments, they're all going to have coffees.
Oh, dude, I think about this all the time. The Ted Levine line?
Yeah, so he orders I want giant decaf cappuccinos.
Yeah, he's like, we'll take cappuccinos. That's Buffalo Bill. That's Ted Levine. He's actually secretly kind of my favorite character, the sympathetic father figure of Brian.
Yes, for sure.
That's it puts the lotion on its skin and everything. That's that same actor.
Okay.
I actually think he's great.
He's phenomenal.
Yeah. My wife and I debated whether that's a swimming pool that the little
it's more of a reflection
that's what I thought too. But she's like, no, that's a swimming because you walk over that little bridge when you're going into the house.
I think maybe you have some hired people in that water when you have
mermaids.
a party.
Beck knows about mermaids.
Oh boy.
Well, I wanted to try to track down if I could see who are the current owners of the main hero cars from the movie.
Oh, good. Smart.
And I was able to find that Jesse's car.
Good, dox him right now, Cameron.
Well, Jesse's car is owned by a dealership in Germany called Chrome Cars, who has listed 3 cars with us. Last one was in 2018. So Chrome Cars, if you're out there and you're listening and you ever want to sell Jesse's car, you know where to bring it.
Or send us a pic of it on display.
Yeah, exactly.
And lift that hood. Let's see if it's a VR6 or if it's 115 horsepower.
Okay, we shouldn't hurt their feelings, but everybody's got a number in their head right now, and I think it's a lot different than theirs.
And then I was able to track down the main Hero Supra, which I believe sold for like $550,000.
Sold to Barrett a few years ago.
Yeah, that's owned by someone in the Netherlands now.
Why are these all going to Europe? That's so interesting. Yeah, totally.
And then some other interesting stuff about these cars post-movie.
Sorry, no, let me cut you off to say that Chrome Cars also has the A-Team van right now.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, that's hard to authenticate. There's probably so many replicas of that.
They also, man, it says private collection. I should dig into this, but have allegedly the Charger from Bullitt.
Oh, interesting.
Chrome
There's two of those
heavy
too.
hitters in there. Sorry.
I mean, one of the things is think about how many. I was just talking to somebody about Marty McFly Toyota pickup trucks today. Think about how many clones have been built of all these cars.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't we list a clone of the Eclipse at one point?
Yes, but it was a Talon.
Okay. I'm kind of pro Talon. Okay, what lot number was that?
This was lot number 209236.
Yeah, okay.
Pretty recently.
I thought I remembered that. I actually like Eagle Talon. My dad had a buddy, Charlie Humphreys, God rest his soul, who was the Latin teacher at the community college in Ridgecrest where I grew up. Really erudite guy, had a bunch of interesting cars, and he, as a side hustle, would order cars for the local Ford Lincoln Mercury dealership, and he ordered himself a Talon TSI white with green leather interior. And when he passed away, I only had 20,000 miles on it. He never drove it. I was like, man, that would be a cool car to have. I don't think those held up very well, but man,
that's
a cool car.
spec.
Yeah.
And then
Talons and Eclipse. And what was the third one? Is it a Dodge? There was 3 cars.
You think
Plymouth Laser.
Plymouth Laser.
Laser, that's right.
Those 3 cars were in magazines constantly.
Yes.
I felt like that was just like the test bed for everyone.
The first generation. Is it the first generation Eclipse? The kind of more square one. People modified the hell out. That was a big street racing car when I was a teenager. I remember that a lot of people had those, and also
2-liter turbo, all-wheel drive.
Yep.
Yeah, and you get a ton of power.
And people put huge turbos on them, and I think the motor was pretty sturdy. In the Racer X article in Vibe magazine, the main character is driving a Civic, but the initial drag race they talk about, that's kind of the lead of the story, is a Starion and a 300ZX racing against each other on a street, which is interesting. Neither of those cars in the movie.
Huh. I was going to ask, in your Lieberman research, did you come across any of the George Barris information regarding these cars?
No, not at all.
Barris connection to Fast and Furious?
Yeah.
Well,
Wasn't aware.
Apparently Barris, tried to purchase the Supra from Lieberman after the movie, which Lieberman would not sell it to him. And Barris tried to bring litigation against him because he wouldn't sell it. But Barris got his hands on one of the original Eclipses and did his own modifications and changed the liveries. And apparently people just kind of freaked out about it.
This is late in his life, right? I would imagine, yeah.
And here's a Craig Lieberman Instagram post talking about here's what George Barris did to one of the screen-used Eclipses. And
I mean, another icon of movie cars and TV cars, obviously.
Yeah, I just think really interesting to feel like he needs to purchase them and put his mark on.
I wonder if he felt like I kind of own TV cars and movie cars, right?
Kind of the way it comes off. Just an interesting part of the history to it.
Man, this is definitely part of the car movie canon, right? The most iconic car movies,
for
right?
Sure.
If you're going to list your top 10, Fast and Furious has to be on it,
Correct.
right? Of car movies.
For sure.
Even if you don't like it.
It's also age dependent. But if you're probably under 50, it's got to rank, right?
Yeah. I would think even like, I mean, it's almost like
The
objectively
complainers
has
of
to be on there.
the Bullitt podcast
Right.
and the Venn diagram of Fast and Furious
Totally.
fans, I don't know that meets.
But this is like more of a car movie than Bullitt, even though Bullitt is iconic.
Alex, you're gonna get
I know,
flayed.
but like this is like more
Well, this
cars
movie's
are
about
more
car culture,
Yeah.
whereas Bullitt wasn't about car culture. There was definitely important characters that were in the position of a vehicle.
Actually, the middle of that Venn diagram is probably Gran Torino.
Nice.
which I've actually never seen.
Oh, wow.
Really? No,
Also not a car movie.
I am aware of some of the themes of that film.
Well, I just feel like you'd actually really enjoy them.
Well, I like Clint movies quite a bit, so I should see it.
But yes, I would say this is much more a car movie, just on the whole, compared to Bullitt.
I wanted to do from two very different eras, but there's like so many directions we could go from here for our next one of these. I'm excited to hear the feedback on this one. I said my favorite cars. What are your favorites from this? Personal favorites?
Just a green Eclipse is the only one when I see
Interesting.
replicas. I want to roll one around.
Do you like Eclipses in general, separate from that car?
that era? I think we're genuinely pretty cars with the
Asymmetrical hump on the hood.
Yeah, it's so
Uh-huh.
good. You just assume there's a giant snail right
Mhm.
there underneath it, and you never see them. They're all on pretty much. So it almost seems kind of exotic to roll one.
100% agree with you. I think they're very good looking. The first gen also has that offset hump, doesn't it?
It
I
does,
think?
but they're more angular.
Yeah, those ones are so like serpentine in their like aesthetics.
Do you foresee Eclipses because so many have been modified and kind of chopped up? Do you see those going up in value? Maybe
We've already
falling?
had a few big results, but we only have seen, I don't know, maybe 5 good ones over the years, and really nice GSX turbos bring the money. But the problem is there's more good lasers and Talons out there, and obviously I'm just going to scoff at those. It's not Eclipse. You want the Mitsubishi.
They were hard to find back in the day. Like I had a couple buddies who had tuned Eclipses, and they would often end up with a GST because it was hard to find the all-wheel drive ones, even when they were relatively
Which was
new
basically
cars.
just an Evo with a prettier body.
Yeah, totally. There were some really fast GSX. It's the same motor. It's just two-wheel drive instead of four-wheel drive.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. Eclipse is up there for me. The red RX-7 is up there for me. But honestly, I'll go against the grain. The SVT Lightning, I think, is.
Oh, dude, it's number 2 for me. I love it. I love it. What about you, Beck?
the Charger.
Oh,
I'd
good.
contrast with all of it. I think it's such a great reveal when this entire time you've been looking at tuner culture, and then he opens up the garage and this sort of hidden gem is in there. And then additionally, the moment that really
They never
sold
quite
me-
explained Dom Toretto's pivot from muscle cars into like
Well, it was his
import
dad's.
tuner cars.
It was his dad.
Totally.
Right? So he was
But like
raised around.
what made
for
him
him.
want to
That's a
change
good
into,
point.
although he does drive one of the few rear-wheel drive cars, I guess.
Correct. But it is sort of showing his dad's history with that car.
Well,
I
and they're
want that.
making all their money boosting imported parts.
Oh,
of
yeah,
these
that's
cars.
right.
He's not
Yeah.
going to show up to a meet in a
That's right.
big muscle car.
Or they're not boosting parts, they're boosting
DVD
Sonic
players, which
DVD
talk about things
combo
that have not
players.
aged well.
Right.
Panasonic DVD players. And at one point, there's like one of those VCR TV combos. I'm like, that's worth $1 today, even in brand new condition.
Okay, the white Civic in the drag race at the beginning, him playing Gran Turismo in
Oh,
the
for
that,
sure.
like my head exploded. when I saw
Iconic.
that.
Iconic. Also, a lot of really low posture in racing seats that don't look to be very well like anchored to the
Yeah.
cars. There's some harnesses.
a lot
where
of
I'm like,
pass-throughs.
totally. I'm like, what is that harness attached to? It's not a roll bar.
Also, I'll shout out our Moto team. I think they are CR250s, and they've got to be like mid-90s models, but that's what they're rolling around on.
All the dirt bikes that they just play 4-cylinder noises over.
Oh, you mean when the Johnny Trans crew like shooting
They're all
everyone up?
chasing
Oh,
on
yeah.
dirt bikes, and it's just all high-strung 4-cylinder noises over the dirt bike single cylinders.
Yeah,
It's
totally.
awesome.
Totally. But at least it was all real. Because I
For
think
sure.
these movies also turned into CGI kind of nightmares, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, all across the board from CGI to fake sound. And I mean, like the
To fake people.
fake people, but the scene, I think.
Oh,
is
right. Because
the-
they had to
They used his
stitch
brother.
Paul Walker into it, right? Yeah.
Him over his brother.
I forget what movie it is, but they jumped the lichen roadster, like from hotel to hotel in Dubai or something.
Yes.
It's like in someo's hotel room.
I think it's the two towers in Malaysia, but yes.
Okay. But yeah, I'd kind of drop off.
Oh, I was just confused because I think you can pay to do that in Dubai now.
What about favorite characters? I have to say, I'm actually partial to Jesse. He's my guy. I love Jesse.
I really like Jesse.
What appeals to you about Jesse?
Okay, so for me personally, and I'm curious if this is true for you guys too, and also for the broader community who likes this movie, part of the charm of this movie is that it's like an accidental comedy, right? Like I'm laughing most of the time I'm watching this, and Jesse is the character that fits the most into that for me. It's like, man, who wrote this? Like, it's unbelievable. Yeah, like dad getting out of prison, like working on engines calms me down, cigarette or non-cigarette down to the nub.
Because he reminds me so much of like the kids in Auto Shop that were kind of burnouts.
I think that's what it's supposed to be based on, but similar to the granny shifting comment, there's like a not very realistic. It's like somebody read one article or met one of those kids for 5 minutes and then sketched out a character that's like adjacent to it. It's like the AI version of that person.
And it's a way of giving Dom like a weak link without having to like hurt the Dom character.
Is this guy going to be killed?
Right.
Like, can you tell it from the beginning? He's like a red-shirted Starfleet officer.
I believe one of the controversies in the later films as well is that both Vin Diesel and The Rock have like clauses in their contracts that they can't lose a fight. And so they never lose neither one, and they even fight each other at one point, but then neither of them actually like
it's a
lose
draw.
it. It's like a draw. I think it ends in a draw. Like they literally like punch each other or something like that. But it allows for him to be like this like superhuman character, and that's what I think Jesse provides that in a great way.
Well, if you look at The Rock's IMDb page, it looks like he's lost a lot of fights getting roles recently.
Oh no. What's the legacy for you guys? Is it also amusing to you as you watch it?
We're not even done on characters. Johnny Tran is
Tran.
insane. Like the backstory of this rich Asian guy who's rolling around on motorbikes with a babe with a machine gun, just shooting up cars.
His crazy brother with the snakeskin pants,
yes,
and like he's like favorite. The trigger man big time.
Oh yeah.
But he gets a mean choke slam during the bust montage.
Yeah, the slot montage, like it's like slow-mo and there's like music playing over it. It's kind of hardcore.
A backhand
his dad
from his father. It's amazing.
Dude, that's intense. And it's definitely in like Valencia or like Canyon countries. Where do you think
that's what really resonated with Beck? Like, he just slapped him when they're just actively machine gunning people and trying to murder people. And the implication that's clearly why Dom's dad's in prison.
The motor oil torture scene from those guys is intense too. 490 weight or whatever it is. That's tough.
And I didn't get that plotline. Why was he missing? The engines were not in the car. What was the insinuation there? That guy was supposed to build them for him, but they just never
not
arrived?
Fast enough, right? He wasn't fast enough for them for race wars?
No, I think he sold off the engines because they commanded a premium because it was so close to race wars.
Interesting.
Sold them to Hector.
Yes, maybe.
Yeah.
But honestly, in every Fast and Furious movie I've watched, there's been one scene that's kind of just like made my stomach turn a bit. In that one, it's the oil scene. And then in Too Fast, Too Furious, they like put a rat on some dude and put a bucket over him and like heat it up. And I remember that scene being like, ugh, that's just too much. I don't need that.
Cam is like totally ready for Too Fast, Too Furious. I think we need to push Grand Prix and all the other things that we could do. We need to get straight to Too Fast, Too Furious.
Got plenty of time, Alex.
Zach, what about you? Any other important thoughts or things you want to share? I'm so glad you did the research on the guy who built all the cars.
Oh yeah, Craig Lieberman's the man.
Yeah, no shit.
I don't know if I have anything else to say other than, I mean, I wish they got an NSX in the movie. There's a few more cars that would have been awesome to see and see if they had a cultural impact. I will say, like, a big part of me does just want to move to Los Angeles and roll around.
It's a good LA movie.
With Underglow and
in my turbo coupe. It's like the closest I ever got to like trying to do pickup street racing. When I was like 17, 18, 19, we'd go down there a lot. But we'd stay at the house of one of my dad's buddies who restored antique cars, and me and my car buddies would work for him over the summer doing upholstering on like American underslungs and Model A Duesenbergs. And then at night we'd take whatever our cars were. And at least one time that I can remember, this was in Pasadena, I'd take the turbo coupe out, which was like not a very fast car, but like none of these cars were actually like that fast compared to the cars today. And you'd go out and you just, streetlight to streetlight drag race. And you can tell who the other kids were who were out in LA at night in lowered Hondas and stuff. And it was really fun. And, in the summertime in LA with the windows down, it's great. Just, it's acting a fool in cars as a teenager.
And the one thing I'll add is if we're going to draw any sort of parallel to Bullitt in this movie, I do think the use of the city that it is being filmed in is also very prevalent in Fast and Furious. In the areas that they're racing, I feel like you get a bit of a grimier look at LA versus how it is portrayed in films nowadays. And I think that was purposeful to kind of give that underground gritty feel to the movie. And so I think that the cities they were filmed in were used really well and the sets were chosen really well.
I think Paul Walker and Steve McQueen have a lot of overlap too.
Sure. Yeah.
Handsome blonde dudes.
Icy cool car guys.
Yep.
I think in their personal lives, Paul Walker is probably a nicer person.
But both interested in cars in their personal lives, like both really important in the car world and car culture, and can definitely both hold a scene without saying much, right? Which we talked about in the Bullet Pod.
For sure.
Totally. They definitely have that, like, I wish I was as cool as Paul Walker or Steve McQueen. You know, that kind of like man crush. Like,
yeah. 100%.
One thing this movie does really well as opposed to maybe Bullet is it ages so well and it's so fast paced. And even though it's got car culture just oozing in almost every single scene, you don't actually really have to be, I don't think, a car person to enjoy watching it. Whereas with Bullet, unless you're so jonesing for that driving scene that you might be really slow and tough to get into. I watched this movie, as I did with Bullet, actually, with my wife, who neither had she seen this movie or any Fast and Furious movie ever. And she was like into it. She was enjoying it. She was making fun of it half the time. She thought it was ridiculous. She thought when she saw Race Wars, she just assumed is this like just a different group of douchebags? Like, I don't understand how this is like a thing people would go do. She's also not a car person at all, but she totally enjoyed this and thought that this was just a great watch, which is a really reassuring thing to do. If you ever have a movie that you love and you get an opportunity to sit down with a friend who's never seen it before, and you're like, half the time you're looking at the screen, half the time you're looking at their face for their reaction, and for them to actually come out of it positive is just like a great feeling as well.
Totally.
My wife, the most recent time I was playing this, she kind of sidled in maybe a quarter of the way into it and watched the whole thing kind of accidentally. Could not get anybody in my family to focus on Bullet except for the chase scene. So very different. My teenage son also really enjoyed this.
Okay, what's the impact the film has left on everyone here?
I do have a desire to go watch Too Fast, Too Furious.
I think it had a huge impact on the non-car people who are sort of just more aware. It's sort of legitimate.
I meant for you personally.
Me personally. Well, that's what I mean, though. I feel like it's given those people, for me, like I get a sense that they sort of know what I'm talking about when I'm saying I'm going out for a drive, or I went out in my Alpha in high school. I would go drive up and down Sunset Boulevard and try to find other cars and do polls with them and that sort of thing. And you could sort of reference, like, other people could have seen this thing, get a sense for it, and you felt, I don't know.
Like, yeah, you know, Beck, you're right. It didn't matter if you won by an inch or a mile.
Didn't matter at all.
I love stoplight drag racing. I still do it. I like, Beck and I have done it before.
We have done it before on Sunset Boulevard.
Yeah. This is maybe my hot take. This is certainly in my top 3 favorite car movies. And maybe it might be my favorite. It's either this or Le Mans are my favorite of all time. And for very different reasons. And it makes me happy to watch it. And it makes me appreciate cars and car culture, even if these aren't exactly my cars. I like a lot of them, but they're not exactly the things that I would want. And even if a lot of the car talk in it is utterly absurd, but that just makes me laugh. I don't know. I really, really like it. By the way, I really liked F1 too, which a lot of car people were upset about. But when you make a good movie that's based around cars, I'm just kind of predisposed to like it, even if it's got a lot of inaccuracies in it.
Sure.
I don't think there's any other movie out there that's done what this did as far as like profiling anything about car culture. There's obviously been some racing films. I'm talking like the street stuff.
I mean, even car people can't sit through Le Mans. Like, it's boring for people. Sure. I love it because it's like a period documentary, but that's tough on people. That certainly didn't have an impact the way this did.
What about you, Zach? What's the last impact for you?
Well, obviously, you look at my garage now, and it's like that time period has left a big influence on me. I think I get hit with a huge nostalgia blast, and I like that it highlights a period where we're getting at around like Tesla cars and Teslas and all this of performance was like more democratic. You'd go out and you'd build your car to make it fast.
It was merit based almost.
Sort of. It took a little more effort to have a fast car, and now everything's so fast. People are almost seeking out slower cars that give them more of an experience than just outright speed. So I think all that's super interesting. Then part of me also wants to roll around with like 212s and the fiberglass trunk setup with the amp off center in there and the flip up screen.
Little PlayStation 2 in the back.
Oh, yeah. Unreal. I miss all that era.
Part of the reason I wanted to make sure you were on this is my impression, Zach, is this hits a sweet spot for you in car era, just like car culture era. And like the cars that were around, what people were doing with them. Maybe just an era in American culture in general that a lot of people are nostalgic for. I kind of am, like late 90s, early 2000s, but there's like almost more innocence to it. It's almost like this movie's almost sweet. I know it's cops and people get shooting and stuff, but it's almost like a sweet movie kind of.
Okay, there's not a ton of parallels, but if you take a step back, I do see a lot of overlap with American Graffiti, where they both take a time and place of car culture, and car culture in Modesto's Central Valley for American Graffiti was essential. That's why George Lucas made it, because it was his youth. A car was access to everything. It was your life. And same with LA. Like, there's similar overlap in the
Great freaking call. And that's a movie that we need to do soon. Have you seen that before, Cam? Oh my God. Have you seen American Graffiti?
I have not actually.
Oh my gosh,
really?
guys.
Wow.
American Graffiti. I've rewatched it a
like,
couple times in the last
I feel like I have. I've been to Mel's Diner enough.
It is so good.
It's a coming of age tale, but the cars are almost characters in themselves in it.
We'll do that one soon, if not next. And it's a guarantee that you guys will like it. It's really, really good.
Cameron, this hipster, he's already got the playlist queued up.
Dude, the cars in that are so good. All right. I don't want to start doing an American Graffiti pod. Zach, that's a really insightful and I think really smart comparison.
Thank you. Yeah, my Central Valley basic roots.
Hell yeah. I think it was filmed in Petaluma. So that's another Bay Area. We're doing very California centric. What are
I love it. They're like, we'll set it in Modesto, but we're definitely not.
We definitely want to hear from everyone out there listening on what other movies. We got a couple suggestions. I got Mad World as a suggestion.
Nice.
I've never seen that one. Grand Prix, I haven't seen in a million years. That's one I want to do. Randy saw that in the UK recently and loved it. Le Mans, obviously, I want to do. Are there any other burning ones for you guys? Any other that are top of your list? I think American Graffiti should be up there on the list.
I would agree with that, especially just considering I'm liking that the films have a connection. I think that Zach's absolutely right that the Paul Walker and the Steve McQueen connection is a very strong one. And I think the next lead into American Graffiti would be a great excuse to go that direction. It'd be nice to try and find what would be then that connective tissue over to Le Mans or Grand Prix on this thread.
Yeah, I would say Le Mans.
Too Fast, Too Furious, Cam?
No, I'd say Le Mans is for sure one that I have had on my list, and I feel like I need to watch.
You're going to fall asleep more times than Bullitt.
I don't know, because if it's actually centered around cars and racing, I think I'll have a bit more interest in it than Bullitt had for me.
Less great clothing in it, unfortunately. It's a lot of people with rolled down racing suits, Gulf livery racing suits.
That's great clothing, honestly.
This was a hoot, boys. Thank you all for doing this. Anything you want to say before we close out?
Movie was an hour and 40 minutes, and it didn't even feel that long.
No, it didn't.
It felt so quick.
Bring them back. Bring them back.
We all got to go do some celebratory neutral bombs in our mom's minivans after this.
I just want to say, Chrome Cars, you know where to find this.
Oh, man. Awesome. Well, thank you, gents. What a pleasure. Thank you all for listening. I was serious when I said we'd love to hear suggestions from you on what movies you'd like to hear us talk about next. It's a treat for us, so hopefully you all enjoy listening. Anything you have to say on that front, any kind of feedback, questions, concerns, can go to podcast@bringatrailer.com. Thanks as always for listening, and we'll catch you next time.